Hey guys, it's Nicole, and today I have a video featuring some die cuts from Cheeky Studio. I am also part of a collab with the Stick It Down sketch group, so I chose the double page sketch that they had provided for the month of February. And when I was looking at the sketch, I was sort of drawn to all the different squares that made up the background. And so I decided that I was going to go ahead and just die cut those out with some pierced square die cuts. Mine are from My Favorite Things. Anytime I'm doing something like this where you've got a whole bunch of squares and you kind of need everything to line up correctly, for me, I prefer to use a die cut because I know that they're all going to be the same size. If I were to just take my paper trimmer and try to cut things down to say, 2.5 by 2.5, more than likely I would not get them to be all the exact same measurement and all lined up. And so what I ended up doing was I decided to go with a rainbow palette. So I took 6x6 pattern paper pads, and I just did a quick run through, and I pulled out so that I had anywhere between 3 and 5 different patterns per color, and I wanted it to kind of go on a diagonal, so I just went from purple to pink to orange, yellow, green, blue, and then repeated it. And so I just kind of counted on this sketch of how many I needed of everything. And for this, I decided I wasn't going to ink the edges of anything. I wanted it to just kind of be bright and white, and I could not find my ruler, so I just used the photo paper that I had printed the sketch on, and I actually just used some notebook paper too. Pretty much anything that had a straight edge that I could just kind of go from one square to the other worked for me. And I did go ahead and cut out a lot of that just because it took me a while to get all of those little squares adhered down to my background. And then I decided that I wanted to incorporate some silver elements within the layout, and I am sort of still on this kick of mounting my photos on vellum, especially when I want them to have more of a presence, especially when I have such a busy background. So I'm taking vellum and I trimmed it down, and then I just kind of ran my Versamark ink pad along the edges, and then I'm just going to emboss it with some silver embossing powder. And originally I wanted to crop my photos down to I probably should have done 3x5s. I completely spaced it when I printed my photos. I kind of just printed them 4x6 and was off and running, and they ended up being bigger than I had originally intended. I wanted to see more of the background that I had just spent all that time on, but I just kind of went with it. And in the sketch, the photos are more sort of loose and whimsical, and for me, it just worked better for my brain to just kind of have everything be more linear and more straight. And that's something that I will do a lot on a sketch, where I will either take maybe the photo arrangement and use that and maybe do my own thing in the background, or take the background and maybe do my own thing in a photo arrangement, or just kind of shift things to what looks better to my eye, or maybe what works better with my specific photos. And that was pretty much what I did today. I basically just, instead of having everything be like I said, whimsical looking like on the sketch, I just brought everything down to where it's filling mostly the middle of my layout, and things are a little bit more linear. Not necessarily, super straight like everything in the background. I did kind of have things overlapping and like a little bit wonky and a little bit whimsical, but not maybe as exaggerated as depicted in the sketch. And then I took the Unicorn Rainbow die cut pack and just kind of pulled out different elements. And this unicorn in particular was over the blue papers, so I paired it with the blue stars. There's another unicorn that was over on a different part of the layout that had more pink, so I pulled out the pink stars, and I just like the tone on tone sort of matchy look. And then I pulled out some sequins from my stash to again kind of go with the silver element that I was bringing in. And then I didn't show on camera, but I did die cut the word memories from a neat and tangled alphabet die set. And then I had just used some My Favorite Things gold glitter cardstock, and it cuts really well, and it's just a nice way to kind of make your own, like, generic thickers, I guess. And then that was pretty much it. I kind of kept it pretty simple as far as things that were going on in the foreground. I just kind of wanted everything to be sort of bright and colorful and still have the emphasis be on my photos, which is what I typically try to achieve. And then I ended up skipping journaling for this, mostly just because these photos are, this is 6 photos out of maybe 60 from this session. So there's going to be multiple layouts, and I've already done a couple layouts of her 12-month photos anyways. So I've journaled on some of those other layouts. I have probably 2 more layouts that I will be doing just of this part of the session where she's eating her cake and stuff. So probably on one of those 2 pages I will do more of my journaling and sort of putting thoughts to paper as far as what was going on and stuff like that. And so that's pretty much my layout. I've got a couple detail photos here. Be sure to go ahead and play along with us this month with all the different challenges, whether it be a double page challenge from me or a sketch challenge or anything else from the design team. Be sure to use the hashtags, #CheekyStudio and #GetCheeky, so that you can be entered to win $5 off in the store.